This is the Codcast. All things Whitby Town FC.
With BR Asbestos, your trusted local experts in asbestos surveying, removal and compliance. Safety without compromise. Visit br-asbestos.co.uk.
Yes, hello and welcome to the latest edition. I'm Andrew Snaith and here is the highlights from Saturday.
It's nicked though by Turner and then it's into the bottom corner with the effort. It was nicked off Turner's boot there for Warrington Town and it was picked up by Josh Baylor and he just got a quick shot away and into the bottom corner. So a low ball there towards the edge of the penalty area. Lewis Earl picks it up 20 yards from goal. He tries an effort driven in. It's blocked by Dillon. There's 2-0. Fell first time for Scott Butler. Well, it was Dillon who cleared and then nobody picked up the loose ball and it's driven into the bottom corner across Norton. Well, deja vu. Would be 2 goals down after 12 minutes. And playing the ball through now for Rhys Daly on the left hand side into the penalty area. Rhys Daly comes inside Sterling. That's 3-0.
Sterling again.
Into Lewis Earl and then a shot driven in, it's squirmed in, 4-0. Callum Hickman does well. So looks to slip the ball through for Jack Kilpatrick there, but Rosie's going to get a shot away. It drops loose there for Stuart Rose who goes to ground. It's a penalty to Whitby.
That was clumsy.
Yeah. Steps up Rose and hits the crossbar. Well, that's Sunday afternoon up. Never have seen it. Rattles it off the crossbar. That's a terrible ball back. Here's a chance for 5. Well, that just sums it up, doesn't it? Jesus wept. His ball back's nicked and round Jack Norton and into the back of the net.
This is the Codcast.
With BR Asbestos, your trusted local experts in asbestos surveying, removal and compliance. Safety without compromise. Visit br-asbestos.co.uk.
This is the Cast.
So that was Whitby Town 0, Warrington Town 5, and here to pick through the bones of that, 2 members of the Whitby Town media team, Liam Ryder and Paul Connolly. Paul, I'll let you go first. Obviously, very disappointing afternoon.
Yeah, that's putting it very mildly. It's difficult to know where to start, to be honest. It's certainly a hell of a post-mortem that we've had on our hands since Saturday afternoon and that defeat against Warrington Town. I mean, ultimately, there's so many different things that you could pick out from that game as points where you'd be disappointed that you think we could do better. Starting from minute 1, Denny Ingram was very clear after Tuesday that you can't go out and you can't let good teams get a 2-0 leg up on you. Obviously that's been taken on board and we've decided we wouldn't give Warrington a 2-0 leg up in 20 minutes. We thought we'd give them a 3-goal leg up in 20 minutes, which was frankly game dead and buried in that point. And from there on it felt dead and buried. It felt a little bit lifeless, to be honest. The manner in which the goals were conceded was poor. We haven't dealt with set pieces. We haven't dealt with simple balls. We haven't picked men up. We've let players get shots away. It just, on the whole, a really disappointing, really frustrating afternoon. And I think it was quite telling that Denny Ingram made 2 changes after 20 minutes, quite frankly. I think obviously at 3-0, then frankly nothing to lose. That sort of prompted his thinking, and Callum Hickman and Tommy Dowson did bring a bit more energy into the Whitby side, but ultimately an afternoon where it's best forgotten as quickly as possible, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. Liam, your thoughts?
Don't take anything from Warrington Town. They're a very good side, and they will be up there come the end of the season, I'm sure, based on how the way they've started this season. But I think really it's the same as at Ashton. It's just, I don't think, look at every single goal this season we've conceded so far. Teams don't have to work for them. You can't look at one goal on Saturday and you think at least in a 5-0, surely there's going to be at least one goal where you can say, okay, fair play. That's a great strike or a great team goal. that wasn't the case at all. We've pretty much gifted them all 5 goals, 2 of them pretty much Carmen copies from corners, and it's like, when are we going to sort of learn these mistakes? Because Denny Ingram was very vocal after the Ashton game of just not messing around with the ball at the back, getting rid of it. And then we're going to do exactly the same on Saturday and completely capitulate. With quite frankly some shambolic defending in there and just really avoidable goals, which it's a shame because the defenders we've got, I know we alluded to it on commentary, but we've got the likes of Charlie Sterling, very tidy footballer, and I know he came with very high remarks on his time at Blythe Spartans in their relegation battle last year, and that he put in some really crucial tackles and showed that he can do the dirty side of things, but at the moment it's just not clicking for him, for the entire defence at the moment. And I think that Stan Hewitt being out is probably not helping that, because it's shifted Leon Gibson-Booth out to left back where he's probably a bit less comfortable, and in the process have also lost an extra centre half, which against these stronger teams maybe isn't a bad thing to have, that third one in there. So that doesn't help, I don't think, losing that sort of natural wing back, and then Joey Pewty on the opposite side sort of being given this license to get forward like he would do as a wing back. But then losing out another man when on the defensive side of things. So yeah, there's a lot to look back on there, a lot to dissect. But yeah, I think really I just wish we'd learn lessons from the Ashton game.
Indeed, and if you think Paul and Liam sounded frustrated there, nothing compared to Denny Ingram in his post-match interview. The Blues assistant manager spoke to Liam after the game.
Well, Denny, a few words, probably humiliated, embarrassed. I've just summed it all up really. Whitby Town 0, Warrington Town 5 this afternoon.
Yeah, first and foremost, just want to apologise to everybody who came along today. That is not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. We spoke after previous games and said if we cut out the 20 minutes of stupidity, shall we say, poor decision making, stop giving teams a hand up by gifting them 2 goals, we give ourselves a chance to compete. They took it on board, the players, on Thursday, come out today, we didn't just give them 2 goals, we give them 3. And after that it was just an absolute capitulation of bad decision making, players looking lost, and when I say lost I don't mean of what we're asking them to do. They look lost potentially at the level that we're competing at. I just said there's a few of them that in there that are nearly men. They nearly win a header, they nearly make a pass, they nearly make a tackle, and that's not what's expected. And look, we've got big decisions to make. It's as simple as that. We can. I said a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they've been put together, and we probably got away with a couple free hits. But that today is a big wake up call. I've already messaged the gaffer. So no doubt I'll be speaking to him later on, and then we can't accept that. It's not what I'm about. It's not what the gaffer's about. It's not what this club's about. You want players who are going to stand up and be strong and give everything they've got for the badge, and bar 2 or 3 of them. I thought Rosie worked his socks off, fed on scraps. Carl Hickman, who's just come back. Obviously I've made a decision to make the change after 20 minutes, which I think is for the best of the team. He's come on, he's run around, he's put his head in places. He's been trying to be positive. Joey Pewty, again, probably the shining light going forward that might look to create something. But I've just said something there. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything else that I can take out of any positives out of.
No, and like you said, there's ways to lose a match, and at the moment it's just conceding poor goal after poor goal, really, isn't it?
I mean, look, we knew what they were about. We get a very detailed match report. We put instructions on the board. We go through things. We give players jobs, roles, responsibilities to carry out on the pitch, and it's like we must be speaking Swahili or something, because they go out and do the complete and opposite to what we're doing, and that's why we've got big decisions, because you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. It's the lunatics are running the asylum if that's the case. So, we have to look at ourselves. We need to have a look at the playing staff. Like I said there, I wanted to apologise to all the fans. Shouldn't really be me that's apologising. Each and every one of them should be facing them up in the bar after the game, and taking what comes their way, because it's just after that performance today.
Yeah, and midweek again, it was poor goals, but you could sort of see that at least in the second half, the sort of Cleethorpes organisation had a go, but today just felt like sort of huffed and puffed in the second half more than anything, without really creating at all.
And that's it. Look, one positive could have come from the second half, and I'm clutching at straws, by the way. We could have kept a clean sheet against them. They're good, they're solid. Just said there, 2 centre halves, a young kid that came on at the back. Give me a centre half that can kick it 60-70 yards. I'll take it all day long. Give me a centre half that can head it forward under pressure. I'll take it all day long. You're not asking for the world. You're asking for the bog standard basics of defending, and we got it so wrong today. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and you say this about sort of some of the players in terms of that decision making. It's not like you said, not for the lack of warning before, and also we see bits in training. You look at the players; they are probably capable of performing better.
Not 100%. They wouldn't be here if we didn't think so. Obviously we had a big rebuild in the summer, and we were short in a few areas. We're looking to bring players in them areas. Hopefully we'll have one in by certainly next Saturday, which will bring a bit of steel and a bit of aggression and bit of nastiness, which I think, look, there's no doubt about it. There's the young lads that we have brought in, they can play football, they can control the ball, they can pass the ball, but being brave isn't hiding away. It's standing up to the person that you're playing against. It's getting on the ball. It's trying to make things happen. Look, we'll make mistakes. It's as simple as that. Of course they will. But when I see 5, 6 of them start hiding away and not wanting the ball and not helping the man next to him, that's not being brave. That's taking the easy way out.
Yeah, and just looking ahead, the next game, quick turnaround, probably as it is now in terms of the squad available, and doesn't get any easier going to top of the table Cleethorpes.
Absolutely not, no. And like I've just said in there, if you think their centre forward today was a handful, God knows what they're going to expect on Tuesday when you're coming up against the likes of Hughesy and Walker. So look, we'll dust ourselves off. We've got to. Not one for feeling sorry for ourselves. We've got. As I said the other week, football's a great game because it gives you an opportunity very, very quickly to go and put right the wrongs. But like I say, I can't be stood here again saying the same things, and that's why we've got some big decisions to make.
Yeah, and just in terms of those decisions as well, I'm sure you look at your team and sort of decide the 11, but potential returnee Stan Hughes, is any closer at the moment?
He's done a bit of straight line running. It's more the twisting and turning, obviously, with an ankle. So Tim's worked wonders with him. I'm still thinking of probably too close. And the one thing that we certainly can't do is rush anybody back, because if it goes again, then it could be 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Extra.
The home of live Whitby Town coverage. This is the Coast Extra.
With BR Asbestos, your trusted local experts in asbestos surveying, removal and compliance. Safety without compromise. Visit br-asbestos.co.uk.
This is the Coast Extra.
That was Denny Ingram speaking to Liam, obviously very frustrated with how things went on Saturday. So let's try and move away from that and take a breath and then look ahead to Tuesday, where we're taking on the one side in the division higher up than Warrington Town, which is Cleethorpes, Paul.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier, does it? That's the honest truth of it. yeah, it's going to be another tough trip for Whitby, and one that, like Denny Ingram said in his interview there, it's a case of if you think you've had a battle against big strong lads against Warrington Town, wait until you're coming up against the likes of Liam Hughes and those sort of players at Cleethorpes who are very experienced, very strong, big centre forward in Liam Hughes, and throughout the team we saw last year, they have a lot of experienced, strong lads who are willing to, roll their sleeves up, get their hands dirty, and have a good bite, have a good battle. I'll get that right. Have a good fight and have a good battle. Even long day, but it's look. We know it's going to be a difficult game. I think for Whitby now that was a wake up call on Saturday. That has to be a reset point, and ultimately it has to serve Whitby in a good stead. They've got to go to Cleethorpes and they've got to put a good show on. That they've got to fight, they've got to battle, they've got to work hard, and hopefully there'll be reinforcements through the door ahead of that one, all being well. But ultimately, one or two players isn't going to make all of the difference. It's going to help, and potentially it'll help us with that sort of battling and not being bullied side. But there's lads that have to step up and have to show that they are capable of being up for the fight and getting their hands dirty as well.
Indeed. Liam, one of those who we're going to speak to a little bit later on is Mikey Hodgson, who's just joined the club after a spell over in the States. I can say that he was certainly wanting to help lead the side. He enjoys leadership roles, likes winning the ball in the air. Just the kind of player we could do with.
Yeah, it does sound like that. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really seen much of him in terms of his style of play or anything like that. But that's what we want, though. It's leaders that I think we need in this team, and nothing against the squad. I think it's a great group of lads that Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram have assembled, and the team spirit's really strong. It's just maybe just lacking those leaders. It's a very young squad on the whole. Sort of a few players that are sort of more experienced at non-league, but that's probably the sort of player we need, really. I mean, Mikey Hodgson himself, really, he's not particularly that old either, is he? But we just need these people to be vocal. We've talked many years about communication on the pitch. There's been a few instances this season where that hasn't really worked and players haven't sort of been on the same wavelength at times. But anything like that's a bonus. And like in the hint from Paul there, that hopefully have a couple of bodies in as well, just to sort of help bolster that. And it's early in the season, but it's good to identify these problems early on, which it seems that Bully and Denny are doing so. In terms of looking at these personnel and thinking, right, we need someone new to come in here at the back, like we've got with Mikey Hodgson. We just need to sort it out ultimately, because August, it's not make or break, but you look at the table, you think it's not too bad a start. 1-2, lost 3, but it's the manner, and I think that Warrington defeat particularly just kind of undermines it, doesn't it? Just how key it is to have these leaders in there and cut out these basic mistakes, because, like referenced earlier, we're still to concede a good goal this season. I'd say they've all been very much avoidable.
One of the new bodies that we spoke about is Mikey Hodgson. He may well feature on Tuesday night, and I caught up with him earlier on. So, Mikey, welcome to Whitby Town FC. Just give us an idea as to how this transfer came about.
Yeah, so I've known Denny from the past. I've played for Denny before. I went out to America. I've been back in England for the past 2 weeks now, probably a little longer, and just got in touch with Denny, and he told me to come down. I've been down to a few training sessions and kind of just went from there, really.
Fantastic. So I was going to say, I'm presuming, 6'1", centre half, heading the ball not a problem. Leadership credentials. How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I like all of those things. Like, obviously, I played a lot at centre half in the States, and I've played before that in midfield and after that in midfield. Neither of them really bother me. It doesn't really bother me too much where I play. Leadership qualities, yeah, that's my sort of, that's what I enjoy when I play. I've done a lot of coaching out in the States as well, and that sort of coaching whilst on the field aspect of the game is important for me. It also helps my game, helps control things. So definitely enjoy those aspects of the game.
Fantastic. I mean, just talk a bit about your time in the States, actually, Mikey. So, Illinois, was it that area where you were coaching with? Was it like a college team? How does it work out there?
Yeah, so we was in Illinois, close to St. Louis, and I initially went out there when I was 18 to go to university on a scholarship to play football, really. Then ended up coaching at the university I was at for a couple of years after that, alongside some other coaching stuff. So it kind of just all came about initially through that sort of scholarship to go and play out there.
Excellent. I was going to say, what's the standard like over there?
It's good. It's different. It's definitely different. And we had a lot of international players. So you're playing with guys from all over the world, which was a great experience for me. It's good to get to know those guys, and you end up living with them, of course, because you're at university with them, which is a great. Standard wise, it's like I said, it's different. It's very fitness based, very physical. Quality wise, at the top end is a good quality. You've got to mix within teams and mix within the teams you play against, but overall, it's good.
Excellent. I was going to say, while you're out in the States, I mean, are you able to keep up with sort of non-league in this country? Are you sort of clued up as to what's happening?
To be honest, I was very, very focused on what I was doing over there. I wouldn't follow it too much. I'm a Scarborough boy, so I would say that I would keep. I'd keep looking at their results. I'd keep looking at the surroundings, like Whitby, and you'd see it on my social medias. I'd see it on my social medias and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say I followed it closely.
Oh, fair enough. I was going to say, FA Cup first qualifying round draws just been made earlier on. Whitby have drawn Ashton United, another NPL Premier club, and one that beat us 2-0 actually last week, so not the easiest.
Yes,
draw.
I am aware of that one.
Bit of a tough one first up. That's coming up on the 5th of September. But ahead of that, Tuesday night, Cleethorpes Town, are you likely to be in the squad and possible debut?
I'm not too sure what it looks like for me exactly for tomorrow night. I am going to be there and around it. Still got to see a few things. But hopefully, whether I'm involved or not, the boys can get a nice bounce back result. Obviously, it was tough at the weekend, but definitely capable of going there tomorrow night and getting a good result. So whether I'm involved or not, I'll be around, and whatever I can do for the team and give for the team, I'm ready to do so.
Fantastic. I was going to say, I'm presuming you've had quite a long chat with Denny before you signed on for the season. I mean, what's he told you?
To be honest, it was all quite simple. I wanted to play football, and I wanted to play football at the highest level I could, and Denny was helping me do so. So what it looks like exactly, I'm not too sure. I just know that if I come and work as hard as I can and give my best, as long as I can give something to the team, that's good for me, and I'm sure that's good for Denny as well, whatever that may look like. But yeah, whatever that is, I'm happy to do so. Obviously, I want to get myself involved on a personal side, but whatever it is, as long as the boys are winning, as long as the team's doing well, I'm ready for whatever.
That's great. I was going to say, how does it feel to be back playing football in England then? How does that feel?
It's good. It's obviously been a while. It's been maybe 6 years, 7 years. So it's nice to be home. It's nice to be playing at home. It's obviously you get a different feel to games compared to playing where I've played. But yeah, it's exciting. Like I said, I'm ready to be involved, ready to be contributing to the team. So
Excellent. I was going to say, I mean, it's a short-term transfer, I'm told. So, I mean, am I right in thinking you're going back overseas in a few months' time?
Yeah, my plan exactly right now, I'm not too sure. I come back from the States, like I said, a few weeks ago, and I'm potentially looking at going back over either there or maybe somewhere else. Maybe after Christmas, that sort of time, early into next year. But it's up in the air at the moment. So we kind of just agreed to take it as it is for now and see where it goes.
That's Mikey Hodgson, who may well be in for a debut on Tuesday at Cleethorpes, depending on how things work out. Paul, it all sounds very positive from him. Just the kind of player we could do with.
Yeah, certainly. We do keep talking about it, don't we? Is having those communicators, somebody with a bit of height, and another defender's never gonna be a bad thing either. Like especially after we've sort of shipped 5 goals at home. So yeah, he certainly sounds like the sort of player we could do with right now. Somebody who talks, and he's somebody that Denny Ingram knows very well, and ultimately he wouldn't be through the door if he wasn't trusted by Denny. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether he does start tomorrow night. I'm expecting he'll certainly be involved in the squad, I'm sure. But yeah, I think it'll be good to have a fresh face in there and somebody who can bring something new.
Indeed, we look ahead to see how he gets on Tuesday. Of course, we have live commentary with Liam and Nathan Conyer, and that's from 7:45 on This Is the Coast Extra. FA Cup first qualifying round draw made, and Whitby Town have got a very tough one. Ashton United, I mean, we're going to be sick of the sight of them after we lost their 2-0 last week, Paul. Very, very difficult draw.
Look, it is a tough draw, but we keep saying it, we keep banging on about it. We need to start making use of the Turnbull and start making our home a fortress ultimately, and that's as good a game as any to prove that in. Look, the Ashton United game last week, we weren't outplayed. We gave 2 silly goals away ultimately, but we competed well. We were in the game pretty much all of it, but like we referenced again earlier on, is you can't give teams a 2-goal head start. So I think that's the first thing that we need to look at when it comes to that game is keeping things tight in the opening 20 minutes and nullifying the threat from the danger men. James Hardy being one of those that scored the 2 goals last Tuesday. Yeah, look, it is going to be a tough game, and we're under no illusions about that. But we're at home. At the end of the day, it's cup football. You never know what's going to happen in cup football. Everything from the league sort of goes out the window a little bit. So, look, it's a home game. It's a winnable game, and we've got to look at it like that. And ultimately, we've got to go out and we've got to make sure that we do absolutely everything in our power to win that game of football, because it's one of the most important games of the season, if not at this moment, the most important.
Indeed, Liam, might it be an advantage that we played them recently? We know where the threats lie.
Well, I think it's got to help, hasn't it? Just not be sloppy at the back. Ultimately, that's what gave James Hardy his 2 goals last Tuesday night. But yeah, Cup 4's a bit weird. I mean, both teams are going to go strong. You'd imagine that you can't really disrespect the FA Cup at all. But yeah, there's no excuse really, is there, for not knowing what their threats are. And ultimately just cut out the mistakes, which is obviously going to be key. We could really do with a cup run. It'd be great for the club to have it again. Great for this new team we've got together as well. I'm sure the players will be hungry for it. But just looking at Ashton, it's not the ideal tie. You hope at this early stage you can avoid sort of teams at your level. But equally, there's every chance it's going to happen. And next round, of course, you've got the National League North sides coming in. So. One of the tougher ones. Quite a few all NPL ties have noticed across the draw. But I think ultimately it's just learn from the mistakes from last week. Don't happen again. It'll still be very fresh in the mind of a lot of the players. And, Whitby can take a bit of heart from the second half performance at Hurst Cross last Tuesday. But equally, they need a bit more in the final third if they're going to really trouble Ashton. But like Paul says, it's winnable. It's a cup day, anything can happen, and hopefully, we can get a positive result and book a place in the next round.
Indeed so. So Tuesday is the next clash for Whitby over at Cleethorpes Town. Thank you to all our interviewees, to Denny Ingram, to Mikey and Mikey Hodgson, and of course to Liam and Paul from the Whitby Town media team, as well as you for listening. We'll be back later on in the week. Bye for now.